For this demonstration of Advanced Framework Extension, you can see I have a very simple assembly and just a skeleton, a bunch of lines and curves that define the structure I'm going to build. It can be as simple or as complex as you need. Here I've got my basic platform laid out. So I go to Framework, start my project. That allows you to do things like prefixes and suffixes for when you start naming all these beams, so you can keep track of everything. Then you just say Profiles. So here I pick, what do I want? I want a box beam, an angle beam, a channel, an I-beam. Just choose from the available options. In this case, let's do a rectangular beam for the top platform. You can see for each type, we have a whole library of different sizes. So in my case, I want some 8-inch channels, so let's go ahead and grab that. So now it's set. Now all I really have to do is pick a curve, and for the first one I want to pick a plane, how to orient these beams. So I'll do that, and then I just pick. You can see it creates a new part, it renames it per my suffix or prefix, and once I get started, it's fast. Just pick a bunch of curves. In this case, let's do that top platform, get it all set with the same size beams. That looks good. Now maybe let's do some support structure. I'm going to use pipe for that. So choose the appropriate pipe size. That'll probably work, so good to do that. I want to orient these differently, so now I'm going to pick a vertical plane to do that. And then pick some vertical curves. So you can see it's really quick. Again, it builds the Creo part, it renames them. Doesn't have to be, different ways. Here you can see I just picked the basic angles, puts those in. Let's put some treads, maybe some I-beams in the middle here. And something like that. So I can build new ones. I could reproduce existing ones. Let me turn off the datum plane so we can see a little better. And that's it. It's so fast and easy to just instantly create your assembly. Now this is probably where you start. Now you might change your mind. Maybe those angle pipes, those are a little too big, a little too beefy, so let's make them smaller. I just choose a different size, touch them. Basically just like that, changed them from 8-inch to 4-inch pipes. You could do the same with the channels, the I-beams, any of those, change them at any time. Once you got your basic layout, now it's a matter of joints. So maybe, here at the top, let's put miter joints. So all I do is pick anywhere near the ends of these two pieces, and I get miter joints. Doesn't matter exactly where you're picking, you're just saying this end, miter them. Right? So you can do miters, you can do maybe trim to a surface, so like these pipes that are just going to sit on the bottom, I'll say trim them right there. So it knows the adjacent geometry and trims it up. Again, what's nice, this is not putting in assembly feature. These are part level cuts, but they're cuts that are determined by the other pieces. For example, these pipes, that's going to actually be a cutout. So I just say take the bottom of those angle pipes and do a cutout. It knows the size of that piece, so it knows the adjacent cope to put to it. And it can even be different pieces. I could say cut this pipe here based on this upper piece. So now I've really started detailing the ends exactly the way I want. Alright, so whether they're overlaps, whether they're cutouts, whether they're miters, joints are very simple. If you want to get a little more complex, we go connectors. So shear plates, various welding options here. You can see we have a huge different library of way to start detailing these ends. Let's go ahead and just pick a standard shear plate. So for that, you'll see basically it only requires 2 picks. The beam we're going to put a plate to, and then where it goes to. I'll say I want 2 rows of bolts so far apart. See all the different options as far as drilling holes and so forth. Now all I have to do is say, okay, I'm going to trim this piece and I want to attach it there, and that's it. So now when I say okay, see it trims the I-beam. It puts in the whatever size plate I just asked for. What's really nice is that makes it easy to repeat also. So I can say, hey, do that again. All I have to do is pick, and place it over here. Oops, I picked the wrong place here. Let me move back. So I say I want to repeat that end connector again. So it's really fast. I can swap around, do the other side. So it's putting in the adjacent components, renaming them as I requested, drilling holes in the adjacent pieces. It's that fast, it's that easy. Right? And that's what you want. You want this thing to be really, really quick. Now notice you can still change your mind. If we go back here and say, oh shoot, that's not the right size, channel or box beam or I-beam and so forth, those need to be fatter. Well, you just do that. So I'll say modify. And so let's start changing these. Notice what happens. It still knows there's a miter joint. It still knows which ones are attached to which. So I make those kind of changes, just like that. Everything's updated. I hit the regen. Those end plates are in the position they're supposed to be. Those beams are trimmed appropriately. It's exactly the way I want it to work. And that's really what you want. You want it to be fast. Now, I'm never done. Remember that skeleton we started with? What if somebody calls, hey, we need to lower this platform. We need to raise it. We need to change the size, space, that upper section differently. Well, I just go into that skeleton, go into those curves. Those were just sketched curves. And make a couple of changes. Make those changes, say regen. Now I've got a short squatty platform. So it's that fast. So it's all Creo. That's the real key. Those curves, these pieces, even these individual components. Here if I just say open up this pipe, it's a Creo part. It can be cut, it can be trimmed, it can be made a drawing. I can actually have a framework build component drawings for every single part I just built, basically with one button. So fast, easy, get all of your structural design work done just as you want.